Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again a warm welcome to the Tourism Students Festival 2020, organized by New Tourism Foundation, the first ever initiative at the national level to focus on education sector on tourism, bringing students in academia into an interface with the industry and the government, with the view to prepare for the challenges for the new normal. And on behalf of New Tourism Foundation, I extend a warm welcome to all our eminent panel members of this session. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic for this session is promoting tourism through a lens, the film tourism. Film tourism refers to the growing interest and demand among the general public for locations which become popular due to their appearance. It refers to the branch of cultural tourism. And to begin the proceedings of this session, I would like to invite all our eminent panelists and introduce them. On the panel, we have today Mr. Abhijit Patil, who is Chairman Raja Rani Travels, Chairman Globe Hoppers, and President Me Maharashtra. On the panel, we have with us Ms. Ivi Manora, who is the founder of Filmapia, India's first of its kind portal for film shooting locations, along with her husband, Benjamin Jacob. This husband-wife entrepreneur duo left their well-paying corporate jobs to follow their passion for movies and travel. Our eminent panelist, Mr. Mahendra Vakharia, is part of the executive committee of OTOAI and the immediate past president of Outbound Tour Operators Association of India. He successfully scaled the summit, Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain of Africa at the height of 19,341 feet on 28th of Feb 2017. And on the panel, we have with us Mr. Sudhir Sopti, who is tourism industry professional, former chief manager PR and publicity events and film facilitation at Delhi Tourism. He is representing DTTDC and the nation's capital on international platforms as the spokesperson. He's had the honor of experiencing World Travel Mart London, ITB Berlin, Festival de Cannes 2019, along with the host of major cinema conclaves like Vicky Frames, IIFTC, and IFI. He has worked in close collaboration with major institutions like the CII, Film Fraternity, and the Producers Guild of India, FFO at the Ministry of INB, Government of India. And ladies and gentlemen, our next eminent panelist is Mrs. Sharobani Puri, an eloquent speaker, voracious reader, blogger, pragmatic educator, and a compassionate mentor. Has over 15 years of experience in hospitality and education. Currently, she is leading her students at IHM Jaipur towards a better education in the field of food and beverage management and is pursuing PhD on microbreweries. She is a firm advocate of choosing a career that reciprocates with one's passion, even if it's an offbeat one. And our distinguished panelist, Mr. Ram Kumar Tiwari, is Deputy Director, Film Tourism, Madhya Pradesh Tourism Board. He dedicatedly helps the directors and producers, the line producers, with the concerned departments for filming permissions, arrangements, meetings, and to encourage the investors for development of film project infrastructure in the state. He is serving for Tourism Board since May 2018, in which many film projects shot under the consideration of Mr. Tiwari, like Sui Dhaga, Panga, Istri, A Suitable Boy, White Tiger, Kalank, Dabang 3, Panchayat, Rangbaz 2, Charge Sheet, Motichur Chaknachur, and TV serials like Ek Duje Ke Vaste on Sony TV, The Bear, and the Paramount Pictures. And on the panel, we have with us Mr. N. Ramji. He has been connected with the film industry since a very young age. He started his company, Travel Masters, in Chennai, which progressed on to become one of the most sought-after companies for tourism and line production. As of now, Travel Masters has expanded its realms in Europe, primarily in Balkans, exploring the unexplored like Bulgaria, Croatia, Macedonia, Ukraine, and Serbia. Shooting with big names in the Indian film industry, such as the megastar Chiranjeevi, Nagarjuna, Shah Rukh Khan, and Ajay Devgan. Mr. Ramji is also holding a position of the Secretary of the Music Academy, Madras, and convener of the prestigious dance festival. And ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished moderator for this session is none other than Mr. Rajan Sehgal, who has worked with Lufthansa, German Airlines GSA, for 10 years, worked as travel head with ITC Travel Division, International Travel House for 9 years, started his own travel company by the name Arrivals Air Services for 19 years. He's been the co-founder of Passionals, online platform for jobs in travel tourism and the hospitality industry. President, India Golf Tourism Association, Chairman, Travel Agents Association of Skill and India Education. He's Chairman of Public Relations Council of Delhi of India Chapter and member Manas under the aegis of working of Ministry of Minority Group, Government of India. And ladies and gentlemen, I now have the privilege in handing over to our distinguished moderator, Mr. Rajan Sehgal, to kindly carry forward the proceedings of this session. Over to you, sir.
It's good day to all panelists. I am Rajan Sehgal from New Delhi, and we must appreciate the initiative taken by New Tourism Foundation to have this Tourism Students Festival, which is the need of the hour, and especially the students who are the future of the travel and tourism hospitality industry. They have taken this career, and they are a little bit worried at the moment that whether they are in the same trade or not. So I can tell you all the future of the travel tourism and hospitality industry that I and most of the panelists who are students of travel and tourism, we did the same thing almost as far as I am concerned. I did my graduation in tourism 40 years back, and you can still see me smiling. And I can. So earlier, the travel, tourism, and hospitality means booking airline tickets, booking hotels, car rentals. But now, in last so many years, the scenario has changed. Everything is related to travel and tourism. So you are very lucky that you have chosen a right career. And this will be a you have to always smile. You have to dress up well. You meet so many nationalities in one single day, which will increase your knowledge. And today our subject is film tourism. You will be surprised that how film tourism can give you a career or part of the travel and tourism industry. So promoting tourism through lens is the theme of our panel discussion today. And we have great panelists from all over India. And I will call one by one and they will give their views and tell you that how film tourism will help you in future to make money also and to earn your career and to make your career also. So without taking any time, I will want to invite Mr. Ram Tiwari, who is with Madhya Pradesh Tourism. And Madhya Pradesh state of India has taken this initiative long back, how they want to promote film tourism to their state. Film shooting at particular destination or a city is the best way to promote that into a destination. So, when I was doing my first film tourism conclave few years back, and we invited Mr. Prakash Shah, and he said, being from Bihar, he's shooting most of his films right from beginning till now in Madhya Pradesh, because Madhya Pradesh is giving a one window kind of thing to him. He doesn't have to go to different people to take permissions. There is one person who is appointed with him. He will take care of all his needs to shoot a film. So over to Mr. Ramji. Please tell the students how Madhya Pradesh tourism or state is doing to promote film tourism and invite people to shoot in Madhya Pradesh. Over to you, Ramji.
Thank you very much, Ram. Thank you very much, Rajanji. It's a very great pleasure to talk with some most eminent think tankers of this tourism industry. Myself, Ram Tiwari, I am working with the tourism department as a deputy director, film tourism and adventure tourism. As we all know, the Madhya Pradesh is well known as a incredible heart of India. In the same time, Madhya Pradesh is well known for the film-friendly state in a country. We have got two-time affiliation from the government of India that we are the film-friendly states. Once we're talking about the film-friendly state, we think how we help to filmmakers, how we help to our talent companions, how we help our line producers, how we help our actors and some other technicians to making a film. But we have a lot of good location and unexplored location in our state. Once we talk about the historical drama, we have a Ocha and Khajuraho. When we talk about the landscape needs cinema, we have a Pachmadi and Andu. Once we talk about some wildlife and new adventure sites, we have a Kana, Bandhavgarh and lots of forest area in our state. So including all के जितने भी कैनवास के जो पिक्चर्स हैं उन सब के लिए मध्य प्रदेश में पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं. We have wonderful basket of film making. इसीलिए बहुत सारी मेगा स्टार फिल्म्स के लिए भी हम अपने आप को काबिल पाते हैं और बहुत सारे स्मॉल बजट फिल्म के लिए भी हम आपको काबिल पाते हैं. बट हमारे साथ एक छोटा सा चैलेंज था बिफोर 2018 कि वी डोंट हैव एन फिल्म पॉलिसी टू सपोर्ट द फिल्म मेकर्स. And 2019 we think about the film making of film policy. Or luckily we make a film policy 2020 जिसमें कि हमने मल्टी लेयर फैसिलिटेशन अपने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के साथ किया है, फिल्म मेकर्स के लिए किया है. हमने ना केवल उनको ईज ऑफ डूइंग अवेलेबल कराने के लिए कमिट किया है और बल्कि हमने उनको फाइनेंशियल इंसेंटिव के लिए भी कमिट किया हुआ है. हमने उनको इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी कमिट किया हुआ है. हमने उनकी फैसिलिटेशन के लिए एज यू से कि वी आर मेकिंग अ कॉमन एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म फॉर द फिल्म मेकर्स. Every filmmakers come to our state and fill up one single form, and we have the unified film location fees also. Location fees is not a different with the other different locations. We have the unified location fees. So इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज, इस तरह के पॉलिसी प्रोसेस और प्लानिंग स्टेट में हमने किया है जिसकी वजह से हम कोशिश कर पा रहे हैं कि मध्य प्रदेश को और बेहतर तरीके से फिल्म डेस्टिनेशन के रूप में डेवलप कर सकें. और फिल्म के माध्यम से किसी भी डेस्टिनेशन को प्रमोट करना मुझे लगता है कि आज के ज़माने में सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव तरीका है. एक छोटा सा एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहूँगा कि हमारा एक स्मॉल टाउन है चंदेरी मध्य प्रदेश में. चंदेरी की स्टोरी के बारे में आप सुनेंगे तो बहुत छोटा सा 30,000 की पॉपुलेशन का स्मॉल टाउन है जो कि ओनली नोन फॉर इज टेक्सटाइल. लेकिन वहाँ पर कुछ एक स्त्री फिल्म बनने के बाद वो सुई धागा कलंक और बड़ी मेगा स्टार मूवी वहाँ बनी. उसके बाद नाउ चंदेरी टर्न एज ए फिल्म डेस्टिनेशन इन स्टेट. पहले वहाँ पे मेरे पास जो टूरिस्ट हॉल था जो मेरे म्यूजियम की टिकटिंग से मेरे होटल की ऑक्यूपेंसी से मुझे मिलता था वो लगभग 25 से 30% का ऑक्यूपेंसी होटल्स का मिलता था और टूरिस्ट फुटफॉल मिलता था मुझे 200 से 300 वीकेंड पे. नाउ डेज 2020 और 2019 का मेरे पास जो फिगर है वो 60 to 65% होटल ऑक्यूपेंसी है और लगभग 25 से 30,000 का फुटफॉल है मेरे पास चंदेरी में. तो दिस इज अ स्मॉल सक्सेस स्टोरी इन मध्य प्रदेश. एक छोटा सा स्मॉल टाउन चंदेरी जो एक फिल्म की वजह से फेमस हुआ है और वो नए तरीके से सामने आया. फिल्म मेकिंग के लिए हमने एक एक्सपीरियंस किया कि सदर्न इंडिया से हमारे पास फुटफॉल्स कम आते हैं. साउथ के जो विजिटर्स हैं टूरिस्ट हैं वो हमारे स्टेट में थोड़ा सा कम आते हैं. नॉर्थ इंडिया से गुजरात से राजस्थान से बहुत सारे टूरिस्ट हमारे पास हैं. तो देन वी मेक अ प्लान कि हम इन लोगों को कैसे अट्रैक्ट करते हैं. लेकिन हमको ये भी साथ में मालूम था कि सदर्न स्टेट्स में फिल्म एक रिलीजन के रूप में काम करता है. फिल्म वहाँ पे रिलीजन है, बहुत सारी फिल्में वहाँ बनती है और वहाँ लोगों का जुड़ाव फिल्मों से बहुत ज़्यादा है. तो क्यों ना हम फिल्म वहाँ के फिल्म मेकर्स को अपने स्टेट में लाएं ताकि हमारे जो डेस्टिनेशन की विजिबिलिटी है उन स्टेट में ज़्यादा इफेक्टिवली सामने आए. तो हमने अपनी पॉलिसी में सदर्न स्टेट की लैंग्वेज की फिल्म्स के लिए कन्नड़, तेलुगु, तमिल एंड मलयालम फिल्म्स के लिए हमने एक्स्ट्रा प्रोविजंस कुछ प्लान किए. और अभी वी आर हैप्पी टू शेयर विथ यू कि वी हैव 5 आफ्टर कोविड 5 साउथ इंडियन फिल्म हमारे यहाँ स्टेट में बन गई. तो इवन क्वेरीज फ्रॉम द एंटायर कंट्री, 5 फ्रॉम द सदर्न इंडिया ऑल्सो. और वी आर नॉट हम लोगों ने फिल्म को केवल सिनेमा के साथ नहीं जोड़ा, हमने फिल्म को डिजिटल मीडिया के साथ भी जोड़ा हुआ है। हम वेब सीरीज को भी सपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं, हम टेलीविजन को भी सपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं, हम डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज को भी सपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि ये इंटायर सिस्टम बल्कि मीडिया वर्ल्ड बनता है। हमने इंडस्ट्री के बहुत सारे लोगों, अभिजीत वगैरह आज साथ में बैठे हुए हैं, सुधीर वगैरह बैठे हुए हैं साथ में, हमने सबके साथ मिलकर एक थिंक प्रोसेस किया कि इंडस्ट्री को क्या रिक्वायर्ड है। इंडस्ट्री ओनली नीड्स कि सारे तरह के फैसिलिटेशन को स्टेट में मिल जाए। तो हमने स्टेट में अपने प्लान ये किया है कि हम फैसिलिटेशन को ज़्यादा जोर देंगे, साथ में थोड़ा सा इंसेंटिव भी यदि हम उनको सपोर्ट कर पाएँ तो उनके लिए बहुत बेहतर रहेगा, वो भी करेंगे। और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट को लेकर, चाहे वो सिनेमा थिएटर्स बनाने की बात हो, चाहे फिल्म स्टूडियो बनाने की बात हो, चाहे स्किल डेवलपमेंट सेंटर, चाहे फिल्म स्कूल्स बनाने की बात हो, हमने सभी को अपने पॉलिसी डॉक में प्रोसेस किया हुआ है, प्रोसीजर डिफाइन किए हुए उसके, ताकि इंडस्ट्री के ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग हमारे स्टेट में आ सकें। Yeah.
ओके, दैट्स ग्रेट राम जी, आपने बड़ी अच्छी इंफॉर्मेशन दी। अभी जब हम पीछे मीटिंग कर रहे थे आपके सेक्रेटरी टूरिज्म से, तो उनको हमने फिल्म टूरिज्म का इंपॉर्टेंस बताया, और उनको आई वाज टेलिंग देम कि इंडिया की जो टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री है और जो हम टूरिज्म को अट्रैक्ट करते हैं, वो दिल्ली, आगरा, जयपुर, दिल्ली एक गोल्डन ट्रायंगल काफी सालों से चलता आ रहा है, जो कि हमारे फाउंडेशन है। बट आई टोल्ड देम कि अगर आप आगरा से बजाय उनको जयपुर या दिल्ली वापस आने के, we bring them to ग्वालियर, ओरछा, खजुराहो, एंड बीच में जैसे आपने चंदेरी का बताया, I think it can be a diamond triangle for them. And ग्वालियर, ओरछा, खजुराहो, उसके साथ पन्ना वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी, they give you different kind of locations and beautiful destinations, which I think nowhere else you can find that. चंदेरी जो आपने फिल्म शूटिंग्स के लिए बोला पॉपुलर हो रहा है, मैं जब हर साल IITM ग्वालियर जाता हूँ लेक्चर देने को द टूरिज्म एंड ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म स्टूडेंट्स, तो चंदेरी मुझे लगा कि एक बहुत अच्छा डेस्टिनेशन है, और इसके लिए हमने फिल्म टूरिज्म को तो प्रमोट कर ही रहे हैं, प्लस लेडीज के ग्रुप जाने बड़े शुरू हो गए हैं, बिकॉज दे वांट टू क्रेजी अबाउट साड़ीज एंड शॉपिंग. So it's my message to the students that travel and tourism is connected with all. And Ramji, we will come back to you again, because Madhya Pradesh is the state, as I told you, Prakash Jha has set an example by shooting all his films from Rajniti to Ganga Jal to so many other movies, Satyagraha. And आपकी जो properties दिखाते हैं वहाँ पे, चाहे वो hotels हो, heritage properties हो, I think they are all amazing. So now I will come to another field of hospitality. There is we have a very dynamic lady from Jaipur, IHM, Shroboni Puri ji. It's a mix of culture from Bengal and Punjab. And Shroboni ji, I must tell you that hospitality, the hotel industry plays a very important role with film tourism. When the entire film units come, they stay in your hotel for long. They sometimes shoot in the hotels also. They use the F&B department of the hotel to provide them food and beverage for their shoot, for the shooting units. So how will you see film tourism as a subject, or as a, maybe you can introduce to the students that they can make them that as a career also, or what is the role of hotel industry, hospitality, as far as film shootings are concerned?
Namaskar Rajan ji, so nice to be here, and very good morning to all the panelists here. At the onset, I will take this opportunity to thank the entire team for taking up such a topic which is very relevant, very appreciated, yet underrated. Why underrated? क्योंकि जब हम होटल मैनेजमेंट की बात करते हैं तो हम बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस करते थे होटल्स को, लेकिन हम भूल जाते हैं एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात कि होटल इंडस्ट्री along with hospitality, agar feeded properly, gives food to almost 22 to 25 other sectors, जैसे travel, accommodation, food and beverage, service sectors, local जो villages की developments है. यहाँ पे मैं फोकस करूँगी दो मेजर चीजों पे. साइकोलॉजी, लाइक एक स्टेटमेंट मैंने इस सेशन के लिए रेडी किया था, was the sense of length has made us pilgrimage. तो पहले हम लोग pilgrimage थे, आज के डेट में हम लोग सब पिलग्रिमेज हो गए हैं बिकॉज थैंक्स टू दी टेक्नोलॉजी। अगर मैं बात करूँ 2 डिकेड्स पहले, जब मैं श्रीदेवी को स्विट्जरलैंड में पहाड़ियों के नीचे नाचते देखती थी तो मेरे दिमाग में आता था दैट इज वन हनीमून स्पॉट। बट ट्रस्ट मी, आज के बच्चे शायद उस चीज से निकल के, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द एडवेंट इन टेक्नोलॉजी, हर कोई शूटिंग कर रहा है। दे आर मेकिंग देयर ओन फिल्म, they are no more dependent on the information coming, and they are so rapidly passing on recommendations कि आप यहाँ जाओ, ये करो, ये देखो। वो मूवी देखते हैं जवानी दीवानी और वो चले जाते हैं हिडिंबा मंदिर, वो कोई शी शो देखते हैं, वो लाइफ ऑफ पाई देखते हैं, वो समंदर देखते हैं, एंड दे वांट टू फिगर आउट ये शूटिंग कहाँ हो रही है, एंड देन दे फिगर आउट अच्छा ये तो अपना ही है, पुडुचेरी है। तो सबसे पहले तो आई विल थैंक सर तिवारी सर कि उन्होंने इंडिजिनस रिसोर्सेस को जिस तरह से अप्रिशिएट किया, डेवलप किया, ये बहुत बड़ा एक एफर्ट है। और हमारे पास मतलब हमारी संस्कृति है जहाँ पे आदि शंकराचार्य बोलिए या स्वामी विवेकानंद जी है, गौतम बुद्धा है, जिन्होंने पैरों से चलकर इंडिया की डाइवर्सिटी को हमारे सामने लेके रखा, और आज उसका प्रॉक्सी रोल प्ले करती है सिने टूरिज्म। तो ये कितना इम्पोर्टेंट एक कम्युनिकेशन मीडिया है। तो बैक टू वो 2 बातें जो मैं कह रही हूँ, हमारा कनेक्शन साइकोलॉजिकल है। Via movie, I am not watching a cinema, I am not watching a film, I am not watching a screen, but that protagonist on the other side is वो नहीं कर रहा, मैं कर रही हूँ। और घर बैठे अगर वो मैं नहीं कर पाती हूँ तो आई ट्राई कि मैं वहां जाऊँ। और सबसे पहला, जैसे ही मैं पैसा कमाती हूँ, मैं सबसे पहले कोशिश करती हूँ कि पैसे इकट्ठे करूँ और वहां जाके उन चीजों को एंजॉय करूँ। बहुत बढ़िया एग्जाम्पल है जिंदगी ना मिले दोबारा। मतलब कितने लोग इंस्पायर हुए हैं वापस उन जगहों को जाके उन चीजों को एंजॉय करने का। एंड यस, एक बहुत बड़ी बात है, हमारा बहुत बड़ा ड्रॉबैक है कि सिलेबस थोड़ा सा पुराना है, जिस वजह से हम डिमांड एंड सप्लाई पूरी नहीं कर पा रहे। मार्केट, कस्टमर्स, टेक्नोलॉजी जिस रैपिडली बढ़ रही है उस रैपिडली हम स्टूडेंट्स को मैपिंग नहीं करवा पा रहे। देयर आर अदर फील्ड्स अदर देन होटल्स ऑल्सो। तो हम स्क्रीन में बड़ी बड़ी होटल्स देख रहे हैं, लेकिन होटल्स के अलावा और कौन से स्कोप हैं जिनके थ्रू हम अपनी एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ा सकें। एंड सिने टूरिज्म और फिल्म टूरिज्म इज हियर वन ग्रेट फैक्टर बिकॉज फूड एंड फिल्म आर इंटरकनेक्टेड। जहाँ पे इतना पूरा ये आउटडोर केटरिंग है, एक पूरा सेट आपके यहाँ पे आ रहा है, यू आर प्रोवाइडिंग फूड टू देम, यू आर केटरिंग देयर रिक्वायरमेंट, वी आर द फैसिलिटी प्रोवाइडर। तो अगर तो 2 चीजें हम पूरी कर रहे हैं, द साइकोलॉजिकल नीड ऑफ सीइंग द पिक्चर ऑन अ ब्रॉडर स्केल। I am a handicapped person, for example, I'm an old age person, I enjoy adventure, I can't go, but I'm seeing it through the screen. और उसको प्रोवाइड कराने के लिए we have a team of people, the hoteliers. और hoteliers aren't fixed to hotel, but they have to understand that there's a wide range of opportunities standing for them. इसके लिए जरूरी है एक cemented bonding between the stakeholders of the film tourism and hospitality people. So again, there are many movies wherein if I give the example of Swadesh, it gives a picture of rural tourism. It gives an idea of rural tourism. जब मैं क्लास में समझाने की कोशिश करती हूँ कि बच्चों क्रूज में किस तरह की अपॉर्चुनिटी है, मैं एग्जांपल देती हूँ। ओके, टाइटैनिक देखा है, तो अगर जिन्होंने हमने जहाज देखे नहीं है, क्रूज मैंने देखा नहीं है, बट एक एग्जांपल ऑफ टाइटैनिक, सो यू टेल मी एंड आई वोंट लर्न, बट यू शो मी एंड आई लर्न। तो जैसे मैं टाइटैनिक को देखती हूँ, मुझे पिक्चर क्लियर होता है कि दिस इज हाउ क्रूज वुड बी। जब मैं उनको समझाने की कोशिश करती हूँ कि रोड होटल्स होते हैं, रोटेल्स होते हैं, तो मैं अगेन स्वदेश का एग्जांपल देती हूँ। शाहरुख खान जिस गाड़ी में चलता है उसमें सारी एमिनिटीज है। सीइंग थिंग्स हैज इट्स ओन इम्पैक्ट एंड एबिलिटी टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हम इसको अपना करियर बना सकते हैं बिकॉज इट्स एन एंटायर टीम वर्किंग। आई थिंक दिस इज मैसिव एंड दिस इज ब्यूटीफुल। सो दैट्स इट फ्रॉम माय साइड।
Rajan ji, unmute yourself. Rajan ji, unmute yourself. Rajan ji.
Thank you very much for your inputs. And I think if you, there are lots of movies which are made on your hotel industry. Like if you see the movie Chini Kam, where Mr. Amitabh Bachchan was shown as a chef. And there is so many other movies, Band Baja Barat, where you can have the concept of event management company, right? So how an event management company can do so many things. Yeah, please.
I have something to say here. Yeah, I missed one thing. As you are mentioning the name of the movies, there is one very beautiful movie which is very close to my heart, is 100 Foot Journey. It talks of a guy who works, who is a young kid with the mother who works in one or some corner of Mumbai, and eventually his journey from that corner of Mumbai to being one of the renowned chefs in France as Michelin star chef. And all the time he talks about the spices his mother used to use, the culture back in Mumbai, the way they are trying to create that culture in France. And similarly, as you give the example of Band Baja Barat, after seeing this movie, quite a few students came to me कि मैम ये जो पूरा concept था ये क्या है? अच्छा ये event management है. अच्छा इसके courses भी होते हैं क्या? So I think yes, that is a very brilliant way wherein these things are coming up and people are asking more and more questions कि क्या किया जा सकता है. So that was one.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So the students, you are seeing the power of film tourism, how the shooting of film at a particular place can bring, generate so much of employment, a business, and promotion of that particular city and the destination. Now I will come to a person who is sitting in the hub of Bollywood, Mumbai, that is Mr. Abhijit Patil. Mr. Abhijit Patil, welcome. You are sitting in Bollywood, you are connected with travel and tourism also, and you are connected with Bollywood also, helping them for shootings, arranging their travel arrangements. We shared the dais in so many film tourism conclave also. When films are shoot abroad, that destination becomes very, very popular in no time. Like ma'am said, when Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara was shot in Spain, can you imagine the traffic from outbound traffic from India to Spain has gone up by 20 to 21% within 6 or 8 months. Mr. Yash Raj Chopra promoted Switzerland, in a big way. And, when we also shot in beautiful locations in India, but, the Indian locations don't become popular because now an Indian movie, when it released on one particular day, like Thursday or Friday, it released all over the world. And, especially the Indians and NRIs, they want to, see the movie and they see beautiful locations and they want to travel because Indians are travel hungry. And, I'll just tell you, when we are doing a conclave and I asked this question from the president of Yash Raj Films, that why foreign locations become so popular, why not Indian? He gave me a very good example I want to share before you start. He said when we were shooting Ek Tha Tiger in Austria, and we were, negotiating for subsidies, the hotel stay and everything. So they just said simply, when you start the movie, it should start with a scene from Austria. And the Salman Khan and Katrina must give a 3 minutes bite that this is a beautiful destination we are enjoying. After the film shoot, we'll come with our family for holidays, and I request my fans to come there. He said that 3 minutes clipping by both these celebrities turned that destination into a big tourism spot. And he said similarly, we were shooting Thugs of India in one of the best palace in Jodhpur with Amir Khan and Amitabh Bachchan ji. And he said nobody from Rajasthan Tourism or Ministry of Tourism has approached us that you should do some kind of a clipping through these film stars, that this is one of the richest palace of the world. You must come and see that. So this is the thing. So Patilji, please share your experience with the students, how you are doing this business and how they can do it in the future also.
Thank you. Namaste, everybody. So first and foremost, since the target audience is students, I'm going to try and restrict the role to giving them a bird's eye perspective rather than going into micro detailing. I would also like to say 3 things. One, I'm a very patriotic gentleman. So Ramji hai, Sudhirji hai, they are going to talk on India. and you have asked me to talk about promoting why films go abroad to shoot. I ex-tourism minister Alphonse, and when we elaborated to him the whole ecosystem of how they come to the table, he mandated us to bring the Cine Tourism report, which we bought out. I will send a copy to you, to Sanjay Soni Saab. He may circulate that. So it's an entire India Cine Tourism report bought on behalf of India Tourism in association with Film Producers Guild and Motion Picture Association America. Also, Motion Picture Association America with the Guild on our behalf has done a document on what is it that really is needed for film tourism promotion. I will email that document also, and that may be circulated to the students. Both these documents will be invaluable to the students to understand this niche vertical of film tourism. Before I go into the international arena, I'll say one thing. For students, they must look now at tourism not as tourism as my father started it 68 years ago. Now the niche verticals are becoming very, very specialized zones, and film and wedding tourisms are amongst the two most prominent areas, also requiring a lot of specialization. It is now not about just car booking and hotel bookings. A lot of subsidies. They are film producers are mapping which destination is giving more subsidy. Is it making more value for money? Is it really a big buck? And I must appreciate that MP, Delhi, Goa, and Gujarat are four states which have taken the pivotal role of getting that method to India. Having said that, the international people still are leagues ahead of us. So I'm going to give you 4 case studies and then come to the simple 4 points which are the rationale for why films are going abroad to shoot. One case study is when we took Vipul Shah ji for a 3-film engagement with Hungary. And we were so surprised that the gentleman heading the film commission at Hungary was not some politician's son or some person from the bureaucracy who they just put there. He was a gentleman called, he is currently a gentleman called Mr. Wainard. Mr. Wainard is a Hungarian who is co-producer for Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Rambo series with Sylvester Stallone, and the Die Hard series, apart from a host of other films. So when you bring that kind of caliber of person on the deck, he knows what is the micro detailing of a film, and is able to give the kind of facilitation required for big budgets to go in. And that is one very important thing. Second example is Spain. Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara is an example which everybody shares. Unfortunately, what people do not share is the tourism angle to it. See, had the film commission alone did a Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara and the film would have been as successful, it may not have resulted in the quantum 70-80% jump in tourism there. The tourism department dovetailed into it, and about a week or 10 days before the release of the film, they invited about 20 of us travel guys to have a private deco of the film over a wine and cheese. And next day, they did a half-day session for our counter staffs. कि टोमेटिनो फेस्टिवल कहाँ होता है, कब होता है, कैसे जाने का, पैराग्लाइडिंग कहाँ होती है, ये बुल रेस कहाँ होता है. So when the film hit town and people started querying that, oh, this is interesting, where is this? At least the top travel agencies in Mumbai, they had counter staff who could immediately latch onto the query and attend it and give information and convert it. This is how film tourism can succeed. Otherwise, we will go the Mauritius route. The Mauritius tourism minister released the Cine Tourism report with our tourism minister, and he took me to the site and he said, Abhijit, we have so many Indians coming and shooting in Mauritius, but 75% of them are showing Mauritius as a beach. 20% to treat it as Goa. So mapping it correctly and positioning it correctly for the audience to grasp it is also very important when you take into account not just films for the sake of shooting and bringing money in the economy, but from the tourism resultant induced investment business thereafter. You rightly pointed out about Ashish telling us about Yashraj's Austria. Now, when they went into Austria, apart from the 2 things that you mentioned, there was also one very important thing. They had a legal document in which a clause was put in that 3 times inside the film, the word Austria will be used, because after spending that kind of money, an Indian audience, which is by and large mapping mountains in Europe with Switzerland, should not fall for it. So you will see कोई संबंध नहीं है, सलमान भाई वहाँ लकड़ी काट रहे बेटे के साथ और बोलते हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया कितना ब्यूटीफुल है ना, किसी शॉपिंग में कटरीना के. So this is how micro detailing the international people are doing to ensure that सिर्फ एक फिल्म पब्लिसिटी आके पॉपुलर शूट होके हमें पब्लिसिटी मिलके टूरिज्म बढ़ेगा नहीं. They know that it has to be taken to the next level thereafter. Another film is Befikre. What they bring to the table is a complete ecosystem. Befikre, Ashish, Yashraj, every tourism board, international and domestic, is chasing them. They had three options. What, apart from the subsidy that France could give, which was not as high as compared to the other destinations, but what France brought to the table was 70% manpower reduction. Imagine a French-speaking destination where instead of a 350 plus crew, Ashish had to take in only 60 people. And 200 plus people were from France, only 6 translators on the table. They completed the shoot without any hitch. That is the kind of professional ecosystem an international tourism board brings to the table and allows. So the kind of benefit that Yashraj had, because they didn't need to take in that many people, their accommodation, their meals, when you take a person abroad, he's being given a separate stipend, etc. So all that is also saving. Another example is of Yashraj only, of Dhoom 3. Such a big film, shooting. Can you imagine, instead of Chicago shooting in Mumbai, the producer will go mad. Yahan to, I'm sorry to say, like I said, I'm very patriotic, but we cannot hide things under the carpet. People are sitting to give chara pani throughout the day. When Yashraj went for the meeting with the civic authorities and the film commission, they went with all their laptops, 5-member team, and they thought ki 4-5 ghante ka sara micro detailing hoga. The meeting lasted for 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, they were out. They were given 3 cards and said, every day of your shoot has been mapped. These are the 3 cards that you have, and this is the list of phone numbers you need. You don't have to do anything. All police departments, everything have been intimated. You are free to shoot. There will be no impediment. So that big budget film, that is the ecosystem that they create. So the 4 points which are relevant is the ease of business, which is very important. The rebate policies have to be clear and transparent. वो gray area नहीं है. This is available, this is not available. We will give you this, we cannot give you this. Also, the total integration, the creation of the ecosystem is very important. Just before COVID, we were to take in about 20 film producers to Kashmir, very patriotically. Let the films start the revival of Kashmir. And then COVID happened. Now we are trying to take them for a Christmas in Kashmir. But apart from the film producers, when Murmur, Governor Saab ke saath meri meeting hui, I shared 3-4 things with him. I am not patting my back, but I'm very proud that we were trying to give him the correct ecosystem. I said, along with that, I'm going to bring in 3 people. I'm going to bring in Mr. Nitin Desai. He's a set designer. They said, what is the requirement of a set? Ye Kashmir mein to wadiya shoot karne aate hai. I said, no, sir. Jab wo Kashmir aayenge, wo 2 din houseboat shoot karenge. Baad mein Mumbai mein jaake, they'll replicate the houseboat in Film City and shoot it for 30 days there. Oh, why will they go to Bombay then? I said, sir, because they want to break the one wall of the houseboat. They want to take camera angle from that side. After 7 days, they may want to open the roof and shoot from there. Are you going to allow a 300-year-old houseboat to be broken? Oh, that is it. I said, see how much economy you will have lost. Secondly, I'm bringing in Bharat Dabolkar and a representative from Ad Club. Acha, what will the ad guys do? I said, sir, aap sirf Yashraj Dharma dekhte ho. Do you realize I pay for going for a film? But that is my choice. But during IPL, do you realize how many times an ad is slapped onto me after every over when I have no choice but to see it? Every time I see a Kashmir ad, my heart boils because we are just showing patriotism, but it has a negative effect. कोई गाड़ी चला रहा है, जवान को देखता है, he offers a lift. कोई जवान को मोबाइल दे रहा है ताकि he can phone back to his family. We are patriotic. But the mindset of people is every time they are seeing an ad, they are seeing Kashmir as Jawan. Why can't you have a Katrina Kaif come? In 2 days, she can be sitting at your Dal Gate and having an appy. Bharat Dabolkar is the head of appy. Oh, this is very interesting. So that is what I mean by creating the entire ecosystem. And that is where international tourism boards, international associate film commissions come up very, very powerfully. Last point is, they understand what will be the loss if the film does not shoot here, and they try to bend backwards to accommodate. For example, Dharma ki latest film, Georgia mein shoot hui. We were trying Croatia for them, it didn't happen because they wanted certain, Indian Air Force does not allow shooting at the air bases with fighter planes and helicopters. They wanted certain planes which were, so the Georgians allowed them to fly in helicopters and certain planes all the way from Germany. But they realized the kind of money power the film was bringing to the table while the film was being shot, and the popularity of that, how much it will benefit Georgia. So this, in short, is my summation. But my last point to the students, this is a very, very interesting topic. Very, very interesting. And it has also got some added advantage of a sheen to it. You meet to the stars as you are taking them for location shoots. You do tend to rub shoulders with the who's who of the industry. So film and wedding tourism are two niche verticals you all should concentrate on. That is a line for the future. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Patil Saab. It's a very good information you have given, and I think the students have, smiling that they are in the right industry. And as you said, the location plays a very, very important role. I'm an avid golfer also, so I was a member of the Swiss Golf Academy. I give you an example of 25 years back. I was invited to play a golf event in Switzerland. So after a game of golf, 25 years back, I was roaming in a place, Interlaken, which is a household name now in India. So it used to be a small village. You can hardly see any people over there. So in the evening, there are two buses, loads of Indian tourists got down there. There are two Volvo coaches. And I was so amazed and feeling proud that, look, the Indians are there in that small village. But I was very curious that how come they know this place when there is no, that Swiss tourism board was not active at that time. So I went to the tour leader. I said, are you from India? He said, yes. And I said, how come they are in this particular place, and which part of India they belong to? He said, it's an entire family clan and they are from Rajasthan. It's a small village called Sikar in Rajasthan. And I said, who told them about this particular place? He said, the children were watching some movie of Govinda and Karishma Kapoor, and they were so fascinated with these locations. They tried to find out where the shooting is happening. So these two loads of buses are on a 12 days tour, and they want to see each and every place where the shooting was happening. So this is the power of location. And when I did my last year film tourism conclave in Mumbai, the theme of the conclave was how to convert locations into vocations. So now we have a very interesting lady, Ivy from Bangalore, who is a location hunter, and I think you are doing a wonderful job. As a travel and tourism industry, we have to go to the books and find brochures to give new destinations, but you are finding new locations, you are going yourself, you are studying the facilities, the connectivity, the stay, everything. So over to IVG, please tell us how you find these locations and give these locations to the Bollywood and to the other production houses. Over to you, IVG.
Thank you, Rajanji. My name's Ivy. It's wonderful to be in such a gathering. A special call for Mr. Natarajan Ramji. Sir, you don't know me, but I have followed your work for several years. You've been the inspiration why I'm sitting here today. I mean, we've never really met each other, but I'm so glad to be on the same platform as you today. And I'm sure Mr. Natarajan Ramji will have many stories and very interesting things to tell about his journey. But surely he was our inspiration behind what we started as a business. Just a short of, we're pretty new compared to, I'm the founder of a company called Filmapia. What we do essentially is we are on the opposite side of the table from the tourism industry. So most of y'all are having a lot of experience in the tourism industry. We are from the film side. So we interact with production companies, film houses, directors, producers every day. And we show them and we recommend them locations for their shoots. So we are 3 years old. essentially what the differentiator in what we do is that we bring in technology for location hunting. Because students of today, young filmmakers of today, they don't have deep connections in the industry as most of the veteran big filmmakers like Dharma or Excel or Rajnikant movies, they would have the connections. They won't have the connections, sorry. So the newer student filmmakers, all of them, the first thing they resort to is they go to Google and they search, how do I shoot in Kashmir? And when we tried to do that 3 to 4 years back, we could find information, but the information was so scattered in several places. So we had tourism websites giving us information about the beauty of Kashmir. Then we had some government websites telling us what policy we could have if you want to shoot in Kashmir. Then we had some line producers saying something, but all of them didn't really match. So if I'm sitting in front of a computer and I want to scout a location in Kashmir, and I really don't have the budget to go to Kashmir over there and do a recce, because I'm not as big a production house as Dharma or Excel Entertainment, I will resort to the computer. So we did not have any such information. And therefore, with the sole purpose of gathering all this information, we created Filmapia. And Filmapia essentially is a tool for film tourism. So when we say film tourism, we mean the movie should go on screen, and based on that, tourism should improve. So we collate all sorts of information that will help a filmmaker to decide whether he wants to shoot in city A or city B. Okay, let me just give you an example. So three types of information we usually show, and all this information is online for any filmmaker to see, and it's public. So it's free information for everybody. So if I want to shoot, let's say in Kashmir, okay, since Mr. Patil also talked about Kashmir, I'll just give you that example. If somebody wants to shoot about Kashmir, the information of all the tourist-friendly locations in Kashmir. There are some places in Kashmir that we cannot shoot in. Say, come to Kashmir and shoot when the tourism ministry says not everything is available. Only some parts are available. So what are those parts that are available? So that information, which is mostly tourist-related, the description of the location, how beautiful it is, what are the different angles you can shoot in, the special features of that locations, its beauty, all that. The tourist part of it is that information we put in. Secondly, the second thing we put in Kashmir is what all are the information in terms of what are the government permissions that I need to take. Where does the permissions come from? Does it come from Delhi, the local government? Who's the local police station that I should go to? So all the different levels of permissions that I need to take, and roughly what are its costs. We give that as well. And thirdly, which is for us also very important, is going to Kashmir and shooting means I'm taking an entire film team of 100 people. So 100 people, logistics. So what are the hotels that are ready for me? What are the service providers there? What accommodation, transport, cab facilities that are there? Not only that, are there any equipment available? Because for a filmmaker, what you need is equipment. What you need is local support. Is all that available? Can I depend on that in Kashmir, or do I have to get everything from Delhi, everything from Bombay, all that? So these are the film related information. So what we endeavor to do is we put in all these three informations in a certain place, according to a location. So it will help a filmmaker make a proper decision by just looking at the computer. Okay, and then it will help him to shortlist locations. After that, he will definitely go on a recce, which is a physical visit to the location, and then they will check different angles, and and according to, there's a huge importance given to budgets, because there's always a creative fight. There's a fight between the creative department and the budget. So the director who wants it the best location possible, and the producer who has to shell out the money. So there's always the tussle between creatives and budget. So all this information, at least the first level of information, can be got using Filmapia. That's our endeavor. The other thing we have is we have a library which students find very, very interesting, especially film and travel buffs. Students who are film buffs and travel buffs, they increasingly come to our library. We call our library Where Is It Shot? So it's a place where we have recorded locations. Suppose there's a new movie that has come up in town and it's shot in beautiful locations. We have a complete page where which song was shot in which location, which scene was shot in which location. Okay, so we have a kind of a library. So we have quite a bit of a community developed where students actually come over and then they ask questions saying, the new web series is released, Sacred Games. So where all was it shot? So what we do, we go and research and then we put it up. So that way we have quite a large location database that is present with us, and our endeavor is to showcase information, because information is power, to filmmakers who want to make decisions before going on a recce. Okay, let me just as a case study, if a filmmaker sitting in Kerala wants to shoot in the desert, okay, and he has, of course, he'll have to go to Rajasthan. If he has to stick to India, he has to go to Rajasthan. But our website tells him that he has the option to shoot either outside Jaipur or go to Jaisalmer. We all know that Jaisalmer is the place, the place which is where you have to go for desert shooting. Where beautiful sand dunes that you can shoot in the morning and in the nights, right? And you have the entire ecosystem of Rajasthan there. But you also outside Jaipur, in a private property, you get sand dunes. Not as big as Jaisalmer, but this is enough. You know, so depending on the budget of that Kerala filmmaker, if he wants a huge drone shot, he won't get it in Jaipur. You want only close shots, you'll get it in Jaipur. But if you want good drone shots, you have to go to Jaisalmer. Then he will look at his budget and he says, so in our website, you will say, if you want to go to Jaipur, you'll have to pay $1 lakh for this particular sand dunes. But if you want to go to Jaisalmer, all the permissions, you have to take permissions of the army, you have to take permissions of the police, all that. So it's going to cost you around 3 to 4 lakhs. So immediately he makes his decision based on his shots. I just need close shots. So for me, Jaipur is enough. So this kind of a first level of decision making is something that helps. We also say that at this Jaipur location, what other movies were shot? So if he wants better clarity, he can actually go to that movie. Now every movie is available online. He can just pick it up and see it. And then he can decide which place he wants to shoot at. So it's basically an information tool that helps film tourism. That's what we do. Just to give you another example, suppose a filmmaker in Delhi wants to shoot in the tea gardens and he essentially wants the Kerala look. He has the option to shoot in Munnar and he has the option to shoot in Wayanad. So these are informations that you get. Now, the advantages of shooting in Munnar are different. The advantages of shooting in Wayanad are different. So if you come to Wayanad, along with the tea estates, you get waterfalls, you get forest departments, you get a tea factory, you get an entire pattern where you can shoot your whole movie inside a tea estate at quite low cost as compared to Munnar. In Munnar, you will get vast lands, but you may not get a variety that you get in Wayanad. Then he also has to see, where do I get equipment from? Both the places you don't get equipment because both are hilly regions. So all his equipment has to come from Cochin, or he has to fly all the equipment from Delhi. So he will work out all his budgets accordingly. So that's just an example. So this is exactly what we do in our website. We gather information from all the right sources of people, put it together, And then a filmmaker makes a decision, he sends us an inquiry. And once he sends us an inquiry, we connect with the different people who have given us that information, and then we arrange for these shootings. So that's basically what Filmapia does. We are just 3 years old in the industry. We don't have very, very big budget players coming to us because, we're just online. But we do have a lot of ads, films, web series, short films, documentaries, corporates. These people do come to us, and we've done about quite a few, and in the quite a few ads where we have given locations. So the hope is to, on a platform, coming to a platform like this, meeting people like you, is to gather all expertise, the expertise and the location information treasure that all of you all have. If we could collate it and bring it out to students who are the future filmmakers, I think it will be a very good endeavor. So that's basically all I have. That's my role to play in film tourism.
Thank you very much. I think it is a very eye-opener, very good information. And I am sure that after the panel discussion will be over, most of the students are film tourism experts by that time, because you are hearing from the stalwarts of this industry. We have a few more, and I think after they are listening to them, you are ready to choose your career as a film tourism expert or something. So now I'm going to a beautiful part of India, which is Gujarat. And we have Mr. Mahinder Vakharia ji with us, who is a well-known person in the travel tourism industry. He has experience in all the segments of travel and tourism. So, sir, can you please share your knowledge with the students, how they can promote India as a film tourism destination, and what Gujarat state is doing to promote film shooting so it can become a most popular state in India. Over to you, Mahinder ji.
Thank you, Rajanji, and namaste to all my co-panelists as well. Wonderful to see some friends on the panel as well in such times when you're not meeting in person, which our industry is so very thriving on. It's still good to be meeting people online and continue with it. And a warm welcome to all the students who are going to be the future of our industry, the total industry of hospitality, as we would call it, not only travel and tourism, but the whole hospitality industry. Students, as you would know, today's topic is, promoting tourism through a lens, and film tourism is one of the niche verticals that Mr. Patil did mention about. Overall, as you are in your course, you would have studied tourism comprises of various other verticals. It could be leisure tourism, it could be MICE, which is meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, which is also a very important segment of tourism. Holiday makers, group tours, leisure, which is a new term that's coming by people going on a business trip, combining it with leisure as well, extending the holiday. So, and along with it, now two other segments that are very strongly emerging as strong pillars of tourism is film tourism and the wedding tourism market. Tourism overall is a very glamorous industry, no doubts about it, but these two verticals add in that extra panache of glamour to the whole perception. I will break my presentation or just speak in two parts. One is the commercial part of it, that how film tourism, films and Indian film industry comprising Bollywood, Tollywood, Collywood, whatever you call it, is one of the largest film producing countries in the world. No other country in the world has got that scope and the scale to make the amount of films that Indian film industry make. Now, the fact is that there is an audience existing not only in India, but a huge diaspora all over the world, because of which Indian films are not only popular with the Indian clientele, but lot of foreign clienteles also, foreign destinations that Indian films are very popular. So we have a situation and incidents. The name of my company is Pathfinders Holidays. I'm based out of Ahmedabad, and we promoting holidays out of India and within India as well. You will be surprised to know, students, we get clients coming into the office with a video clip of a film song that was shot at some location. They do not know where the location is. They have no idea what the location is or which destination is. They show us a clip and tell us that this song is there and we want to go to this location. Can you believe the importance of the role that tourism can get to advantage because of the films. This is the power of, what you see is what you aspire to then go and live the dream that I want to go to Switzerland and run around the tree like a honeymoon couple, like what you would have seen in one of the Bollywood romantic films. But that is the commercial strength of film tourism. We have destinations that have opened up, and I will not talk about, because I will allow my friend Mr. Natarajan to speak. But Iceland, after he broke in the barrier there with a Shah Rukh Khan film, has just gone through the roof, like what happened to Spain because of Zindagi Na Mile Dobara. Tourism to any destination, location, a very nondescript location, like one of the Akshay Kumar movies with Katrina Kaif, one of the early times. It's a film shot in Egypt at a beautiful historical 5,000-year-old Luxor temple, okay? It's in ruins. The whole temple is in ruins, but the song is filmed there. Now we have clients coming into the office and saying, I don't know what this is, where it is, but we want to go to this. Now, so if you're a student and emerging into the tourism industry, and if you are interested in promoting tourism-related, film-related tourism, you will have to be mindful of the locations that the films are being shot, what are the areas that are there, and how you could translate that into making it a commercial proposal for your client and make business out of it, okay? There is a huge potential, there is a great potential, not only outside India where the locations are great, no doubts about it, but within India also we have some stunning locations, which I'll come to it in a short while. So this is the commercial side of it, which film tourism helps travel agents and tour operators to prosper because of, promoting it. Now I'll come to the second part of it. Now, if you are interested to specialize into film tourism and you want to make a career out of it, then of course, there are also options available, because now more and more states within India also opening up. They are being mindful and they are getting aware of the fact, the kind of publicity, the kind of revenue, and the kind of employment film tourism generates wherever they go. Mr. Patil did give a brilliant example of how France brought their strength on the table by subsidizing. He said, you don't get your labor and workforce all the way from India to France. We will provide you at a special price. So they generated employment for those employees in France. Now that's a kind of strength what film tourism can create within the ecosystem in India. So if you want to specialize in film tourism as a vertical and get involved into it, you will have to be mindful of what in India, sadly, there are a lot of different permissions that you require to take. You have to take permissions everywhere, but India, the challenge is much higher and much broader, and the frustrations are very high. And that is one of the reasons that I'm sure the two gentlemen will agree with me, Mr. Natarajan and Ms. Patil, that films want to go out of India because of the ease of doing films. In India is a big challenge, but you will have to be mindful of what kind of permissions you need, which state government is more flexible, willing to give those permissions, what is the time taken. Those parameters are equally very important to realize when you branch out. So also you will need to be mindful of, India is a very culturally diverse country. Cultural aspect will have to be taken into consideration a lot, because something what is easily acceptable as a situation out of India will not be acceptable if you're doing the same kind of a shoot in India. You will have to be slightly sensitive to the area and the place where you are shooting. For example, if you're going into a religious place, you will have to be mindful of that. So these are some of the nuances which you will have to be mindful. You will have to develop that the tact to understand this, and then bring it on the table where you can then prosper to become a professional who can be the gap between the production unit and the end suppliers. Mr. Rajan did ask me about Gujarat, my state, and I'm very proud to be a Gujarati in Gujarat. One of the few states, and Mr. Patil did mention as well, out of the 4 states, Gujarat, you'll be surprised that there are some amazing films, not only the big blockbuster films, but a lot of television series, a lot of web series are being shot in Gujarat, have been happening in the past, but it's become more and more prominent now in the recent years. Now, interestingly, what the Gujarat tourism government and the Gujarat government has done is the Gujarat Tourism, through the Tourism Corporation cell, under the tourism days, to ensure that they reach out to the production companies, the production company reaches out to them, they become the facilitator to get all the permissions required within and from the government for any shooting to happen in the state. Now that is a very big headache taken off from a production unit or a film location specialization unit like what Mr. Patil and Mr. Natarajan is focused. So can you imagine your permission from the collector, permission from the government, permission from the archaeological society, from the marine department? I don't know how many departments you need to take permissions from, but all those are taken care of. That big headache is taken care of by the specialized department created by the Tourism Corporation of Gujarat. Now that is a very proactive way to start with it, because where you start creating systems like this is what you will then be able to attract filmmakers to come to your region, to come to your town, to come to your state and start producing film, wherein then it drives the ecosystem of that state to create opportunity of jobs, create opportunity for the hotel industry to get business, create opportunity for the transportation business, create opportunity for the equipment suppliers, you know, your lights, your cameras, your various other equipment that is required for the film shoot. All this get into the picture, and everybody, it's a good circle that everybody thrives onto it. So, and Gujarat as a state has got some amazing locations as far as India is concerned. Yes, we do not have the mountains with snow. That's the only thing to my mind we do not have in the state, but otherwise we have some of the best culture that you want. We have it. Ahmedabad is the first heritage world city of India. So we have some stunning heritage monuments for a shoot that you could think of. We have 5,000-year-old Harappan and Mohenjo-daro civilization ruins, which you can, if you want history, if you want archaeology. If we have the fossil park, which is one of the best retained fossil park of India, with skeletons of dinosaurs and whatnot, millions of years old. We have religious tourism, which is a very important thing. You know, some of the most prominent temple towns of India are in Gujarat. You know, we have the White Run, which got popular with Amitabh Bachchan as, you know, as a brand ambassador for Gujarat tourism, and he spoke so much. And believe you me, that region has transformed. You know, people who were shepherds are now owning huts. Can you imagine the impact of tourism that has brought into that region after the devastating earthquake that we had in 2001? And that has happened because of this film tourism that came in. One film star, Amitabh Bachchan, came and promoted it, and then the floodgates opened, and the whole state is thriving out of that. So we have the White Run. We have the Asiatic lion. The only place in India where you can see lions is in our Gujarat. You know, we have 1,600 kilometers of coastal area. So we have everything that you would require. Handicrafts, the festivals, Navratri festival. You know, films have been shot where a song is becoming mandatory now to have a Gujarati Garba song part of the film to get the rhythm and the excitement going. So all in all, I would like to sum it up to say students, tourism and film tourism per se is a great vertical. There are different ways you can be a part of it. As I said, you can promote it as a travel and tour operator, or you could be a facilitator to make sure that you get all this paperwork done for a film unit, and then be involved in all from the day one till the end of the shoot. That's one part of it, and be aware and mindful of what are rules and regulations possible. And to my two friends, Mr. Patil and Mr. Natarajan, and Ms. Ivy as well, Gujarat is open for film production. Please come anytime you want to bring your clients. We are more than happy. Gujarat is welcome and with open arms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mahendraji, for beautiful inputs you have given. But I think before becoming the ambassador of India, our honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, he is also from Gujarat, and he has done a lot in promoting India also in a big way. And Ivy was telling earlier that for deserts you have to go to Rajasthan, but I think you can come to Gujarat also. You have beautiful deserts also. So that's great. So students, you must be listening. Yeah, sorry.
So I'll just add in here. We have one of the beautiful natural wonder in Bolivia in South America, the salt flat plains, which is stunning. It's like a mirage. It's like a mirror. And Mr. Natarajan, as I said, I will not speak about what he's done, so let him. But in Gujarat also, we have the little run of Kutch, where the white desert has got so popular is because during the full moon, when you come and see that salt flat surface, which is stretching out into kilometers and going to the border of Pakistan, it's like magical. I mean, words can't describe that, honestly. Thank you.
Yeah, and this is the right time to promote India because, as Mr. Patil said, the foreign locations are very, very, restrictive for the Indians to come and shoot over there because of this crisis going on. So I think this is the right time to promote India. My humble request to all the states, if they can be more open to the film industry from all over India and invite them to their states to shoot the beautiful locations and give permissions to, at the historical heritage sites also, because that's one of the condition of the foreign locations when the film production houses goes to them, that you have to shoot at that particular places in our city or in our country if you want to shoot or if you want to take the subsidy. So now I will come to the pioneer, the leader of our travel industry, whom I am watching from my day one, from our association of Travel Agents Association of India. We did our convention, as they were saying, Srinagar is a beautiful locations. All our film during the era of Shammi Kapoor, Rajendra Kumar ji, Raj Kapoor ji, all the films used to be shot in Jammu and Kashmir. That was better than Switzerland. But now I hope it will come back. When Mr. Salman Khan was shooting Bajrangi Bhaijaan in Jammu and Kashmir, I was there, and when at the last day he did a press conference with Kabir Khan, and they, said to all the Bollywood and all the production houses in India that this is more beautiful than European locations. Please come and shoot. So I think it will become a reality very soon. And now I don't want to come between Mr. Ramaji Natarajan and the students. So over to you, sir. Please share your experience. You are in this trade from last so many years. You are one of the pillars of this industry. So can you please share your experience and how they can make it use this in the future? Over to you, Ram.
Thank you all for having me today. And now we are addressing the students of tourism. And basically, I would like to walk them through from my point of view as to why they are opting for a career in tourism, okay? And through my perspective, which is films, it is basically, if you notice that when I was being educated, there were only 4 distinct professions: doctor, engineer, lawyer, and a chartered accountant. This is in the early 80s or 75 to 80, okay? And each parent, they put so much pressure on their children, basically, is to, they want them to follow their own, goals and ideas. For my mother, she wanted me to become a doctor because her father was a doctor, her brothers were doctors. My father wanted me to become a lawyer because in his family, his father was a lawyer and a host of others were lawyers. But I was such a bad student, basically, but I used to like geography and history a lot. And of course, I used to like a lot of good food. And so what happened, I'm talking about 40 years back, my journey started in the movie industry. And since I was so bad in, I couldn't find a seat in medical or in engineering or in law, I had to do something which I was passionate about to succeed. Of course, my parents wouldn't even understand what I was doing. I got into acting in movies when I was 18, 20. That was in 1980. And then I struggled there. And then finally, but I always wanted to travel in my life. I wanted to see new places. This was my passion. So the only thing I used to look forward every year, year after year, was my mother taking me to her native place because they used to have a nice river behind her house and we used to swim in that river. This used to be my ultimate goal every year. But nevertheless, since I used to read and about history and geography, I wanted to travel, but I had no means to it. So when I got the opportunity to get into travel, I grabbed at it. Because of my movie background, in '87, I started film tourism. This is now 33rd year for me in film tourism. And that's when I got an opportunity to work in a film. In those days, it was so primitive. We couldn't get a permission. There is no internet, no website, no absolutely no knowledge about anything. So we had to literally jump into that country, go in there, look for locations, and find those locations, and come back and again put it in a sequential format to do the filming. So there it started, and as it progressed, I started getting more and more passionate about what I was doing. So this is mainly for the students who are here listening to us, that why they should be opting for this profession. Because you can't get a better profession. This is much better than whatever my parents felt as a doctor and engineer. For myself, as a person, I found myself, I really realized what I was doing by, getting such a load of experience traveling around the world. Okay, now, see, I am from South India. I live in Chennai. India makes around 2,000 plus movies every year. But people don't know that 70% of the movies are made in South India, in the 4 languages of Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, and Malayalam. Bollywood makes around 30% of the movies. So, and the entire epicenter was in Chennai those days. Of course, now the industry has moved over to Hyderabad and to Bangalore and to Cochin and Chennai, the 4 epicenters of the southern movie industry. So when it began, Yashji had opened up with Switzerland, with Silsila and Lamhe in those days. But when it came down to South India, in 95 and PV 93, I started the Switzerland run. And by 95, we were making 95, 96, we started doing around almost 50 movies per year. Because the movies were made in such a way that you have the song and dance sequence. Primarily, we were filming the song and dance sequences. And they used to make the movie and keep that window open. While they do the post-production, they'll ask me, Ramji, come on, we need to do these 2 songs or 3 songs. So we used to, in those days, we used to travel with only 20 to 25 people. Even the top star, may it be Chiranjeevi, Rajinikanth, Kamal Hassan, all traveled in one single bus. And the hierarchy used to be that the driver, next to the driver, I used to be sitting, right behind me used to be Rajinikanth or, Chiranjeev, and the director and the heroine, the mother, and then backward to the touch-up boy. And as we drive towards the location, it's like a, safari. Hey, stop here. And then this location looks good. Then we used to stop the bus there, get on to board of the bus and film and get back into the bus and keep moving again. So this is how we used to do the shoot. But, at one point of time, it became so busy for me that on a single day, I had in the same location, 3 superstars working with me. I had Rajinikanth in one shoot, I had Chiranjeev in another shoot, and Mahesh Babu in another shoot. And they used to ask me in a very jocular way, okay, Ramji, what do you have for today? Okay, sir, I think you have not done snow. Why don't you go to the snow location today? Okay, this way in Switzerland. Okay, okay, they used to go. And Rajinikanth, if Chiranjeevi goes there, I said, Rajini, sir, why don't you do the lake location today? Why don't we go to the lake? And then Mahesh Babu, why don't you go to the green location? So the next day, it used to be the other way around. We used to come around and do it. And then by November, everything the Switzerland had closed down. They asked me, Ramji, what is it? We have movies coming up now. What do we do with it? Now, then I told them, okay, let me think about it. And for the next 6 months, Switzerland is going to be closed. Then somebody told me that in New Zealand, it was a reverse climate. So I packed my bags and went to New Zealand in October. And when I saw the place, my eyes just popped out. And then all I did was I invested $200 in a by asking my friend to take me to a bookshop. And I bought about 30 pictorial books about New Zealand. When I came back, I spread it all around to all my clients and showed them this is the location. And we ended up doing 148 films in New Zealand alone from 1997 to date. But I would say that every 5 years, the pattern of movie making itself changes. What happens is we keep, inventing. First, it is only song and dance. Then after that, it became with scenes. Then subsequently, we started action sequences. Then after some time, we started doing mass sequences where they'll say, okay, we need, for example, when I worked on Bahubali, my friend, the producer, asked me, Ramji, we need to do this location where it is simply not possible. This was supposed to be in India, actually. But, you have to go up the Himalayas. We can't, there's an oxygen problem with, 200-300 people. How do we do it? At the same time, Switzerland is very expensive. New Zealand is very expensive and too far away. That's when I came up with Bulgaria, for example. And as we went there, we were able to match these locations of Himalayas in Bulgaria. And similarly, that's when I had a chance meeting with director Rohit Shetty and Ajay Devgan separately. And each one had a different requirement. For example, Ajay Devgan had planned to shoot the whole film in Shivaya in Canada, and which had become way out of budget. They couldn't do it. And then he asked me, how do I solve this problem? How do I fit it into the budget? He had to shoot in Canada. He had to shoot in Poland. I said, okay, why don't we do one thing? Let me listen to first thing I do is I listen to the screenplay along with them. And that's when I start putting forth my own ideas, and we have a debate over the whole thing. And I said, okay, if you want, what are you looking for in Canada? It's the snow peaks. I'm getting the technicians from Los Angeles, and I need this. And I said, well, we can do the same thing in Bulgaria at 1/3 the cost. Then I said, okay, he said, okay, this is it. Then me being what I am, like a curious guy, I said, okay, can you tell me more about the screenplay? Then he said, no, the other portion we have already decided to do in Poland. I said, why Poland, for example? No, we are looking for a dark, gray, Eastern European country. I said, you can do the same thing in Bulgaria simultaneously. You don't need to even go there. So we started putting, all these things together, and that's when we came up with the whole project being filmed in Bulgaria for Shiva. Whereas for Dilwale, they had given, Rohit Shetty is a person who looks for action, big action, basically. So then he asked me, see, I need to do a lot of action sequences, cars flying, trucks blowing and things like that. And I said, I can do this in a budget here, within the budget. We were able to do that in Bulgaria because under the budget. So then Rohit Shetty told me, Ramji, okay, now we have done it within the budget. I have this extra amount of money. I want to do this spectacular song in a location where nobody has done. I said, I have one location. He said, I told him Iceland. They just didn't have the time. He told me, okay, now I'll do one thing. I will ask Farah Khan to travel with you to Iceland, and you just go there, and she gives me the thumbs up, we all leave. That's all. And they're not seeing the location at all. So I had filmed 4 films earlier in Iceland. So when they traveled along, when Farah Khan came along with me, and she saw all the locations, she just caught up and said, it's mind-blowing, yeah, come on, And immediately the next day, they all left for Iceland. And we shot Gerwa. This song, Gerwa and Dilwale, has clocked in more than 325 million YouTube hits. And the tourism in that single year itself boomed out to over 1,000% for Indians traveling to Iceland. Overnight, from almost like 1,000 people traveling, it jumped to 10,000. Okay, this being the case. Subsequently, once I had gained the trust, again for the movie Simba, they were running short on time. When they were running short on time, again, I was just summoned to Mumbai, and Rohit Shetty told me, Ramji, I just have 3 days to film this song. I don't know what to do, but I can't leave now because I have post-production, I got all these other commitments, I have to do it. The release is on such a date. Now I am relying on your experience. Since I had done over 300 films in Switzerland alone, so he said, okay, this is the theme. I want a water base, and it has to be only Switzerland because Ranveer Singh is the brand ambassador for Switzerland tourism. Okay, so I said, okay, fine. I know the places exactly, and I just gave him an update on the laptop. This is how the locations are going to look, and this is where we are going to be positioned. So every day, it's not going to be more than half an hour of travel, 45 minutes of travel in each direction, and we will be able to accomplish the song in maximum 4 days. Okay, and he just said, okay, you take Raju Khan, Suraj Khan's son, who's the dance master for this, and you just leave. We just left. They had already decided, and then from there, Raju Khan gave a thumbs up, and they came in, and not in 4 days, he finished the song in 3 days, and that song, Tere Bin, has clocked 300 million YouTube hits today. So, similarly, look at my own personal experience. For the students, I'm telling this. If you care what you want to do in your life, you come to this tourism industry because of your passion. You want to see places, you want to experience cuisine, you want to meet so many different kinds of people all around the world. That is the best education you can ever get. When, for example, recently, we filmed in, I filmed 3 films, major films in South America. This was for director Shankar's Robo, for Rajinikanth. We traveled to 28 different places in South America to choose 2 locations for the song, for 2 songs. And this, we did it in Machu Picchu, 1 song, which Machu Picchu, no Hollywood film has also been filmed there, ever. They were not even sure whether they'll give us permission. So I had to use my own way of talking and requesting and cajoling, and we got the permission. They said, we are not even given for the James Bond movie, this place. This is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And we ended up filming in Machu Picchu for 15 days. And we had taken in all the dancers from Brazil. And then after that, Shankar wanted to do a song. He said, I want one of those mind-blowing locations. And I was able to find one in South Brazil, in a place called, Northern Brazil, I'm sorry, in a place called Lençóis Maranhenses. And when he saw the location on Reiki, he said, Ramji, the whole song I'm going to film here. And that's when we did the song with Aishwarya Rai and Rajinikanth, the opening song for that movie. Again, as Mahendra Vakaria has told us about Ran of Kutch, we were able to locate a place in Bolivia at 14,000 feet. And at that, where the oxygen levels are low, you are asked to chew coca leaves, which is the original, from there only you get the cocaine. So to keep our sanity, and this is at 12,000 square kilometers of pure white salt flat called the Salar de Uyuni. When the location was shown to the star Allu Arjun, he said to his father, the producer, Allu Arvind, he said, I don't care what the cost is, we have to film there. And we flew 38 hours to reach the location. The last leg was on a charter plane from Santa Cruz. We flew to Salar de Uyuni by a charter plane, about 40 of us, with Ganesh Acharya, the dance master, the famous guy. And this song again has clocked over 100 million YouTube hits. And the entire diplomatic corps of India, South America and India, Spanish-speaking countries, including Spain and Portugal and all these places, they had a special commemoration with a dinner and played the song, showing that how this location has become so popular. So what I'm trying to talk to the students is, you are in one of the most exciting industry you are, and you should grab this opportunity in your life. When you look back in your life, I am 60 today. I have traveled to 140 countries. I have filmed over 1,000 films, and I have in 75 countries we have filmed itself. Most of the films we were the first to film it. Probably not in Switzerland because Yashji was before us. Call it New Zealand, call it Australia. We shot Indian for Kamal Hassan in Australia. So, and quite recently, when the Creative Indians company wanted to do a documentary on me for Netflix, which is now on air, and they asked me one single question: what is the biggest asset you have? I said, the biggest asset I have today is not properties or bank balances or, it's my passport. I have 16 books of passport with 1,000 stamps all over it. This is my asset. So what I'm trying to again put the point to all the students is that you are in the best industry. You are in the most exciting industry. Go for it. Life has to be lived. Life has to be lived, not imitated. Don't go by what your parents say. You do this, you do that. Don't feel miserable with your life. Do what you're passionate about. And as you say, there is no industry that can give you the pleasure and the thrill of travel and tourism. That's what I have to say in my submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ramji. So what a great example for the students. And I think you have traveled more than a foreign minister of any particular country. And the 16 passports example I give you, I also used to travel in my 40 years of travel and trade. And, we used to staple all the passports together. And when I gave it at the German airport along with my ticket, I have around 5 or 6 passports. And immigration said, where is the rest of the family? I said, it's my single person's passport. So he was, little amazed. So this is the power of travel and tourism industry. Students, you must have hearing, and I think it's a very interesting subject. Our panel discussion, if we keep on carrying, it will go, more than what Sholay has run for 3.5 hours, So now I have another gentleman called Mr. Sudhir Sopti, who is the pillar of Delhi tourism. He bought the film shootings from Mumbai to Delhi. He has played a very, very important role. He spent almost 35 years. He also did his graduation and post-graduation in tourism from Delhi University, and like a student like you. And he has not sold a single ticket in his career because people think travel and tourism means selling tickets, booking hotels, and so many things. So I would like to invite Mr. Sudhir Sopti, who spent almost 35 years with Delhi Tourism Development Corporation, and he bought lots of film shootings from Mumbai to Delhi. And when he was with me in my film tourism conclave in Mumbai, and he has a beautiful booth of Delhi Tourism Development Corporation, I took Mr. Mukesh Bhatt to his booth, and he was watching a beautiful brochure about film locations in Delhi. So he said, Mr. Sehgal, is this only a brochure or is this a reality? Mr. Mukesh Bhatt is a very outspoken person. I said, I introduced him to Mr. Sudhir Sopti. I said, no, sir, it's a reality. And can you believe, after 7 days, he sent his entire unit to Delhi. And I, along with Mr. Sudhir Sopti, we were sitting with his unit, and they said, we want to shoot a film in Delhi. And it is related to tourism because the hero is a guide and heroine comes to Delhi for some holidays. So it will help your tourism also. So this is the reality. So Mr. Sudhir Sopti, please join us and give your views and experience to the students. Over to you, Mr. Sudhir Sopti. Unmute yourself. Unmute. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Rajan, for introducing me before the August gathering. And the subject what we are discussing today is promotion of tourism through the film lens. It's very, very apt, subject which is not really very often being discussed, and that too before the audience which is actually going to take over the reins of tourism and the hospitality industry in the days to come. So to begin with, I would also like to compliment the young audience before us who are stepping into the tourism and hospitality industry. As Mr. Natarajan rightly mentioned, that this is one of the very, very exciting and vibrant industry which you have rightly chosen, and you deserve to be complimented. And I'm sure that you are heading towards a very bright and enterprising career. Now, film tourism, as we elaborate, it's very, very important for the success of the film to have an appropriate location, which attracts the audience, which makes your film go, and which makes your film a success or a failure. Having realized this importance of the location, it's not only India, but the foreign countries have been in forefront. They have been coming to India to shoot, because India has such a large, diverse location available, which I think no other part of the world offer. Within 2 hours of air journey, you can reach from desert to the snowbound hills, the sea, or whatever you think of. It is all available within one country, and as I said, at the duration of 2 to 3 hours. So it's a big advantage that this country offers. Now, having realized the importance of locations and promotion of tourism through the films, the Indian government also took a very conscious decision few years ago that we need to upgrade our facilities and the systems involved to facilitate the filmmakers. One, that our own filmmakers from India do not go abroad to shoot there because of valid reasons, that the foreign countries are more hospitable. They have the systems very organized. They offer, the financial helps, incentives, what we call, and so on. So it happened, and in a way, India was a loser. And because of films were going, produced were going out, money was going abroad, and they were the gainer. Now, as the Indian films, Yash Chopra, as earlier also it was mentioned, he was very fond of shooting his film in Switzerland. Now, it is a very, very that Switzerland got promoted through the films. Maybe Ye Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, or many more films which have been shot there. So the tourist traffic to Switzerland increased many folds from India. So the people started going for honeymoon, for leisure, for tourism, other reasons to Switzerland. Now the challenge before us that we retain our films within our country and promote our own locations. So as I said, that Indian government took initiatives. States of India were, are also advised to bring out a film policy, the better facilitation for the film producers, and it happened. A window was opened through Ministry of I&B called Film Facilitation Office, FFO, and one of the arm of NFTC, which over a period of last few years did a good job. They have come up with a online, you know, permissions facility, which is actually taking off quite well. And many other states have done a wonderful job to streamline their system of facilitating film shootings so as to make the film producers feel comfortable while they shoot in respective states. There have been challenges, there are challenges, challenges will remain, but yes, I can, being a part of the government for last many years, I can say that the government is working very, very sincerely. And in the days to come, I think the objective of film shootings within our country and increasing the number will certainly increase. I had been representing Delhi for over 30 years, but into film shooting facilitations for last 5 years. And what I observed was that till past few years, only 5 to 6 feature films were being shot in Delhi. But as the present trend goes, there are about over 30 to 40 films are being shot in a year, and the big budget films. Not only the feature films, but the websites, as the trend is turning towards these days, are being shot, and I think it is definitely very, very encouraging response. So how do we link this with tourism? Is that when the shooting, when the film happens, the tourism follows. If the locations are being shown in the film, so naturally there is a curiosity among the viewers. Our films are definitely very, very popular, not only within India, but even abroad. So, after the locations are showcased to the films, you have the inbound tourist traffic coming, and people are very, very particular to visit those beautiful locations. And it leaves, everlasting impact in the minds of people, like film shot in Kashmir. Years ago, I think when the Bobby film was shot, even today, when you go to Kashmir, you go to Gulmarg, and one of the important places to visit is mentioned that I'll take you to Bobby Hut, and the people are definitely curious to visit that place. So this is the kind of impact it has. Delhi, as we all know, is one of the beautiful capital city of the world. It also offers beautiful locations as well as film shootings are concerned. It is definitely becoming a hub of film now, film shootings. The Mumbai is looking towards Delhi because of many facilities and other factors. The government of UP has recently announced another big film city to come up in Noida. I think it is a great news for the country. And the new film city comes, definitely it has more facilities, it has the modern infrastructure, it has all the things which are expected by the filmmakers, not only from India, but from abroad. I went to Cannes last year, and we had showcased Delhi as a film shooting destination before the filmmakers from all over the world. And believe you me, people had such a curiosity towards India. They wanted to know much more what they have seen. And Delhi in particular, definitely there was a lot of interest, and we are definitely getting lots and lots of inquiries. The process of issuance of permissions, facilitations are being eased out by the government now, and I think in the time to come, soon it will be a smooth sailing, and we can look forward to have many, many more films in all our states to shoot. And even the foreign films, the flow will certainly increase. So that is the kind of film locations has an offering. Now you see, before when we talk of tourism, to publicize a place, had it not been for the film, you get into spending huge amount of money to showcase your location, to talk about your destination. But this has definitely given ample of opportunities to showcase your location, to promote your destination for the tourism through the films. One location is shown definitely, and you can have an understanding with the filmmakers to get a promo made, as Rajan also mentioned in his earlier address, and it is priceless. It's a kind of compensation by the filmmakers. You can definitely have very good results, and through the films, we all know, and it is for all of us to see that it has a lot to offer. Now, the one small example, when the PK film was being shot 5 years ago in Delhi, and I had been personally associated, with the unit of Rajkumar Hirani, we had couple of problems, but with the help of the government and the other concerned officers, things were eased out, and it resulted into a very good promotion for the city. There is a place called, there is a, in Connaught Place, there is this Bauli. So this place was actually a lesser known place, but such a beautiful place, which was also identified by the Rajkumar Hirani for a shot. So we went there, and this place was so barren, it was locked. At 5 o'clock, it was being locked by the security guard. The ASI was approached, shot happened, and this became one of the very attractive location in the film. And the result is that it is now being visited by thousands of people every day, as compared to merely 10 or 20 people going there. So that is the kind of power this location offers. So I think this makes our point clear, and we will get more opportunities to, discuss our viewpoints, exchange our thoughts, and take our initiatives forward collectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sudhir Sopti. And I think it was a great learning for me also, because, if you learn every day, you stay young. In our career, we have to see the time management is very important. So I think the panelist was giving us so many experience in sharing for them. I think it's a great learning for the students and for us also. And on behalf of all the panelists, I'm grateful to New Tourism Foundation for this initiative for the students. Once again, thanks to all my panelists for this wonderful experience they shared with the students. It will be a great help for them in their future. And thank you very much for all of you for sparing your time. And thank you to the students for listening to us. Thank you very much.
Thankful to all our eminent panelists for their insightful and thoughtful addresses, and also to the viewers of this session. I'm sure that the takeaways of the session will enthuse confidence among students and young professionals during the current testing times towards the new normal. We have a surprise for you all attendees. Scan the QR code on your screens with your mobile phones and answer 10 questions in 10 minutes. You will get to win prizes and surprise gifts. And I shall see you in the next session.